what's the root? So did we get just bad data from the API? Did we get
Yeah,
good?
yeah, first, yes, bad data from the API at that time. When we are storing the Redis, na, that time it was not there.
Maybe we don't save it to Redis if we don't have an image. If we don't have certain data, maybe we don't save it to Redis. Maybe we give it a shorter cache time.
Hmm.
We don't have certain data. Instead of
Yes,
caching,
that
maybe we can cache for a day
yes, that thing we can do it.
because all the popular profiles are going to have images, and we can cache those for a long time.
So, so you just fixed this one case, not the root of the problem?
So root of the problem we were not aware, John. So like I fixed for only one profile.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's fine to do it on one, but we need to be actively investigating and coming up with a solution to the root of the
Yeah,
problem.
the solution which I did now, like I when I run it, first I check on the prod. So the prod was not working. Then I check in the local it was working, and QA also it was working.
So, well, let's have a solution to try and make sure this doesn't happen for other profiles. Like, so if we get a profile from Redis, it wouldn't be a lot to check and see if it comes from Redis, do we have a profile picture? And if we don't have a profile picture, when was the last time we checked Redis? And if it's been like, if it was been like 10 minutes, we don't have to fetch again. But if it's been like a day, we should try to fetch again from the API. And if we do get something, we can overwrite the record in Redis with the one with the image. Yeah, it's possible it just did not have an image when we pulled it. But maybe we want to try to fetch more aggressively from the API if we don't have all the required data, because they're still kind of building out that profile.
Okay. So like what all can we can add condition on which like first we will add on image and other more field we will add like
I think image is the most important because that's Don, I don't know if you have anything. I feel like if image,
I'm not clear what the problem was to begin with.
so it looks okay. I don't have any confirmation on this. This is my speculation. Is we fetched the profile from the API, and when we fetched it from the API, it did not have the sufficient information. Like they did not have the profile picture or anything. This could either be from like the API couldn't be returning it nothing for any reason.
Yeah,
And
but it was obviously there because Amit restored it on that one
it
case.
may have not been there when we first fetched it, though. It's possible.
I see. So like maybe the people who manage the API added it more recently.
That's definitely a possibility.
I see. Okay. Right, because maybe it's a brand new thing that they just uploaded.
Or it's not popular enough. Like it could be not popular enough, or it's brand new.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously it's there now.
Mm-hmm.
So
correct. And our Redis doesn't live forever. I think we have Redis. If you can confirm, maybe it's good for a month that we're caching profiles in Redis.
I will tell you one minute.
but this was like the same day, like it was posted that day.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that record is good for, but I'm saying that if it would resolve itself in a month had we not done anything, which a month is a long time. That's why I'm suggesting that if we don't have all the required data, if we get something from Redis, we should check the API again, like after a day or so, and make sure we have all that required information. Because if we do it every time, it's possible the profile just doesn't have an image, and then we're doing unnecessary calls to the API. So we kind of want to back off this a little bit. But
yeah, and you're saying we would check again a month later?
Well, if we don't have a picture, I'm suggesting we do it like a day later or 2 days later. But if we have everything, then we can keep it for a month. Well, that's what right now we're keeping it for a month. Like
For movie, we are taking 30 days.
30 days, yeah, a month.
30 days.
What are we
Yes.
doing in 30 days?
We're keeping the stuff in
So-
Redis. We're keeping the profile cached.
Okay. Huh.
And so we are also 30 days and book 10 days. Yes. Google places 10 days.
Okay. What happens after 10 days?
We fetch it
10
again.
days.
Okay.
Fetch it again. Okay. Um, hmm. I don't love what I'm hearing here. We don't even know exactly what happened.
So what's your concern here?
Well, multiple concerns. I don't want to do unnecessary fetching. I don't want to have situations where the profile, the event, the topic, whatever the case may be, looks really look really bad. It had an avatar of a person in the icon, and then a placeholder image of a city as the image. So like about as off as you can get, because it wasn't a person that was shared, it was a movie. So the icon's a picture of an avatar, like a head and shoulders, and then
Mhm.
and then down below is a city scape.
Okay.
So it's like,
Let's work on those placeholders too, because that happens whenever you like. I think when you share some profiles, or like when you create a custom topic. I remember I've seen that picture before, but
yeah.
maybe we need to update that placeholder image as well, so it looks a little more on theme.
Right. Yeah, I thought we had a more generic one for movies. Do we not? Is there not a more generic placeholder for movies and shows?
This comes from the front end.
Content it's coming. Let's do.
Okay. So yeah, and I don't want to assume, like, maybe there was a different problem that happened. We don't really know the problem.
Right, we just know what's in Redis, and like we don't have any
So,
log.
like other information was coming, John, like I checked earlier. So other information was coming, but only those was not coming. So yeah, might be that so updated newly. I see it's created on our database on 12th of April. 12th of April is created on our database.
On the 12th of April.
Yes, this Mayhem in the Desert movie created
Yeah.
in database.
Is that when it was first added to their API as well?
Now let me check. In that movie, the 21 hours ago, 2 days ago. It's released only 2 days ago, na? That's why. Might be they like what Jerry said, na? They have not imaged that time. Might be they updated later.
Yeah. When I tap on the card, the profile underneath the movie icon says music.
Music is the category.
That's interesting. But we don't have a music category.
But it's the category for the film. So
Yeah. Oh, I see. So like it could say comedy.
right.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I want to so we need a different placeholder, and I guess we're gonna assume that it just wasn't updated in their API yet. So then we wouldn't have been able to update it for 30 days. Is that right?
I mean, we can always clear something out in Redis and overwrite it manually, but if we don't do anything, then it stays for 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah. Or you suggested if we don't have all the data, we do a check more frequently?
Yes.
Correct.
Every time we will do a call.
I don't think every time, Amit, because some profiles, like, they may just not.
One day.
I think one day.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, do you want to set that up, Amit?
Yes, yeah, I need to work on that part.
All right. We need a different placeholder image too. So that's going to be on the front end.
Correct.
Yes.
Depending on whatever profile type.
Okay. We've got a lot of little bugs that crept into this build. It is released in the App Store. I want to keep everyone moving. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit here. Let's start. Ismail, I need you to look into something right away for me, please.
Before you can start,
I'll get back to you. Well, all right. Do you have a question for Jerry?
so can someone please tell me what is the QA build on test flight?
I think 11 is pointing to QA. That it's an older build, but it has like topics and all that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Continue.
Yep. Okay, no problem. Ismail, we had a user report an issue with an event not being there, which I'm still getting more information on. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I suspect it was a situation where obviously we didn't have that modal in there, like when you try and leave, and it's like, are you sure you want to leave?
Oh.
So I suspect that's it. I don't know if that's it, but I went ahead and tried to test in a pretty active chat because I didn't think it was going to do what it did. But I went to create an event and then I hit back and it saved it. No modal, no save button.
Well, when you create an event and you hit create, it creates it automatically. It doesn't. There's no compose event.
Well, let's walk through the steps real quick. Let me go to a test conversation we have.
So like right now, if you go try to create an event, it'll take you to the event screen where you can fill out the information. As soon as you hit confirm, it's going to create that event. It's not going to compose it.
But I didn't hit confirm. Well, I hit confirm on the...
Yeah, there's no compose phase. So you hit confirm on the where you fill in the information where it has all day and has the date and it has the location.
Yeah.
And then if you hit confirm, it's gonna create it right away. It's not gonna. There's no compose where.
Yeah, that's true.
Like custom topic.
Right. So then that couldn't have been the case where you tried to back out before.
Yeah, if he had hit create, you should have created it.
Right. Is there a situation where someone can back out before? So like that modal doesn't really apply, does it?
Not to this case, no.
Okay, so that wasn't it. So I need to get more information from the person. He's saying that the event isn't showing up.
Was this an old event or a new event that he had just created?
So it was about a week ago.
So he stopped seeing it after a while. Does he have a lot of topics?
It is a chat with a lot of topics, yeah.
So this is something that I think I've been noticing. I haven't been sure, but I think this confirms it. When you have a lot of topics, the old one, I think we start not paginating them. We're not showing them.
After 25?
No, this has been going on forever. The other day I was like, I remember I have more topics than this. No way I only have these many topics. And then I made a mental note to like go ahead and check it. But then I got distracted as always. But yeah, I think what's happening is if you have more, like I think we just paginate topic once. I'm not sure. I mean, do you remember? I don't think we paginate topics. So what that means is after, let's say 20 topics, you stop seeing whatever is older than that. You just get the latest 20 topics that the API pulls out.
Is this in relation to the topic limit that we have?
Yeah. Well, we don't have a topic limit. You can create as many topics as you want, but we only call the API one time. Let's say we get 20, 25 topics. After that, we don't paginate, so you can't see after that. So I think that might be the case here.
All right. So notice if you scroll up, if one of your topics, like if you have too many topics or a lot of topics that you can't keep creating, they all don't show up top. But if you go through your main chat and find the topics there, you can actually chat into it and bring that missing topic into the front, and another one disappears into the back.
Well, yeah, but that's not. Yeah, exactly. So that because the API now, so the API, like the backend gives it the first 25 topics based off of
Right.
a algorithm we have, but after that we don't get any more. Is what it looks like. So
Right.
we need to like paginate these topics as well by sliding sideways. So instead of showing the new topic and new event at the end, we keep paginating until we have all the topics. Which is where I kind of had talked about, I've talked about this a while back, where it could be very hard to navigate these topics now if you have 30, 40, 50, 100 plus. But yeah, I remember, I think we were saying that's kind of maybe a good problem to have, right? But now we're there, so we need to see.
What if we had a list view for topics? Like somewhere's in the, like if on the chat settings, like when you hit the main chat icon, there was another option for topics. If you
There could even be a see all button. We do that on the screen where you see like movies and shows, recent favorites, and check it.
Yeah, we would definitely need something to like look through them / search them through a search query, because yeah, it can get very messy or hard to find a specific topic when you have more than 20.
Mm-hmm.
But that would obviously need Figma design, then it would need a backend work, and then we'd have to implement it here on the front end. But I think that's what's happening. If his topic had been created a week back and there's a lot of topics and he's not seeing it.
Okay.
And we can paginate for now as a temporary solution, or, I guess we have to paginate regardless. Like, why would we not? So I think we need to start paginating on those topics. I think the backend supports it. I'm not if
Yeah, pagination of topics. We support it.
Yeah, so we just have to implement it.
Okay.
And then we can look at a solution where it makes it easier to search, these topics when they get really, really big, or the list gets big.
I should be able to delete an event too if I'm the one who created it, because I can edit it, but I can't delete it.
Well, we can't delete any topics at the moment. Maybe we do add that function to delete any topic, not just events. If you create a topic, you have the option to delete it. That would apply to, because like if you apply it for one, you can probably apply it to any of them.
I was thinking event would be the easiest one because you already have an edit.
Well,
it's not that. It's the functionality at the back end that, like, it's a mutation that we're going to pass a topic key to that's going to delete that topic. So that's why I'm saying if we apply it for one, we can probably apply it for any. And then I guess Jerry or Amit can correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me also throw out that when you delete a topic, that's effectively going to nuke all the messages that are in that topic.
It would, yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I think I know why we want to delete the event. Do we need to delete it? Should we be able to look at past events?
It depends on.
There's comments in them.
Guess it depends on the user, right?
User
preference.
Yeah. I guess so. I was just thinking if we have a group chat, we have a bunch of past events with like comments in them. I don't know why we'd necessarily need them, but if we were just keeping all of our history, maybe
there may be thousands of different users creating events for different situations, and some of them may want to delete their event.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to imagine or remember, like in Facebook, do people delete events when they create them? I think all the events are always saved, for example, in Facebook. I'm not saying that's the right way. I'm just saying it's not unusual for
you can't delete an event.
No, it just becomes your history. Because usually people are have communication in those, and just like any other posted topics, that's just part of your history. I'm not saying this is the right way at all, by the way. I'm just posing another thought.
I'd be curious if the person creating the event can't delete the event.
Yeah, Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they couldn't.
Yeah.
But,
We don't have any logic for deleting events or topics whatsoever right now. So that needs to be added to the back end first.
yeah. Okay. Well, let's circle back to that. What were you saying?
Just real quick thought on that. I don't recommend that we delete anything. We should just have an inactive flag. I'm assuming that's what everybody has been implying, but
Yeah.
we should never
That's
delete
what you
content
do.
from the database.
Like if you delete a conversation, it's not really deleted.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page there. I don't think it's a good practice to actually delete.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right. We'd have to add just another layer for where topics get removed, but then you also introduce the thing, because right now topics are in a way shared between groups. Like they have messages that are specific to a group. But if you share, let's say you share a movie, if you share, I don't know, the Minecraft movie in one group and then you share it in another group, they share the same topic key. It's not a unique topic key, they're shared. But if you were to mark it inactive in one group, we could have it to where it would hide it from that group. But what I'm going to lead into is if you reshare it to that group, right now all the messages would be restored. So we would have to ask whether or not we want to.
Okay, let's keep this on the back burner because it's not like critical for us to delete anything. Pagination, I think, is probably more critical. So let's tackle that first. We have a lot more critical issues. I want to move to them. So we'll keep that one in mind. Let's see. Amin, I sent you something over the weekend. We still don't have the proper perspective on the start the convo. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw that. I need to sorry, my noises. Yeah, I will need to look into to see like what's going on there. Like you said, those are not your favorites,
Yeah, it's showing trending.
and this is after onboarding, so it
Yeah.
should be yours. What David one it is. Okay. Yeah, because like I thought the onboarding is straightforward. There's nothing going on there, so.
Yeah, it goes to the trending if we don't have any favorites to display, but I do have lots of favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason it's reverting to the trending.
Yeah, I'll see how I can reproduce it as like I'm you and see if I'm getting trending or your favorites.
Okay. Also, we test the first favorite flow because I don't have an account that has no favorites, so I'm not able to test it. But we did while you're doing it. It's kind of the same. Should be right in the same flow to just
Okay.
trigger.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure that triggers. Also, I want to get Wells some help on the podcast stuff. There's still inconsistencies around it. Some of it's going to be back end, some of it's going to be front end. Wells, do you want to share your screen? Let's get Amin involved because he's been involved, and let's make sure we get it right this time.
Yes, sir. Let me just finish writing you a text real quick. 5 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, when he does that, we'll take a look. It's stuff around the play button, and I can tell Jerry what's going on the back end. So, Jerry, on the back end, I I tagged Tori in a check-in for a podcast, and it shows my recent check-in. Actually, does it? Let me double check. What I know for sure is it does not show, from her point of view on her phone, John Worthington's recent check-in. That podcast was not showing up.
This is something that I kind of brought it up the other day. So when you're tagged in the check-in, doesn't show on your activity feed. So,
well, now that's okay for the person being tagged. but the one doing the tagging.
Oh, so it wasn't on Tori's feed?
No, it was not on. Well, not her feed.
Well-
If you go to the wheel
Okay.
and you tap on entertainment,
All right.
and then you go to podcasts.
Okay.
Now your perspective will be different
Mhm.
than Tori's, but you might see John Worthington's recent check-ins.
Well, I also see Tori's.
Okay, but technically she didn't check in, so I wouldn't expect it necessarily to be there for Tori because I tagged her, so it's not really like she checked in, but certainly under John Worthington's check-ins, it should show that podcast. Do you have? Do I show up in your list?
Which one? All I see is Rad Radio.
Right. You're
Okay.
not seeing the one I checked into.
Correct. All I see is Rad Radio.
Okay, yeah. So, but I did check in and I tagged Tori. Is it because I tagged her? It's not showing up.
I'm not entirely sure. We'd have to check into that. It either could be something with a caching that is not getting cleared, or let's see. Let me try to go to your profile. So yeah, raw and real. That is okay. I see it. But it's not on. Okay, but it's not on your feed. I wonder if it's something about. Yeah, I wonder if it's anything about caching, Amit. If that's something that you want to check into.
Do you want to first eliminate the tag aspect of it? I suspect it was maybe because I tagged her.
No, the check-in should be a check-in. Like it's a.
It is showing up. Like from my point of view, it says my recent check-ins and shows it.
Yeah, let me just check it. Trending or that would be not trending check-ins. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, and then check-in would be 624. Okay, yeah. Your check-in tag is fine here, but let's see. User recent check-ins. Let me check that query.
Okay.
And user recent check-ins. Where the heck did that come from? Active users. Recent friend check-ins. Podcast. What's on?
Notes on them.
Okay. Let's go step by step on this with let's start with the navigation part of it. You can share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I don't recall why we had it navigate when you hit play latest episode. I thought that was
Yeah.
the
So
easiest thing to do.
I designed it that way because before you couldn't listen to a podcast while you were navigating the app. You went to the podcast screen and you hit play there, and then when you exited the screen, you stopped listening to it. So there's listening to podcasts everywhere. We added after the controls panel for hitting play and pause on the music from the notification, sort of from the notification control center. So it makes sense now to play and pause from there directly. But before I did the navigation because you went to the podcast screen and play there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
so now we're just going to be able to play
here and then
from-
play, and then we're on this here. But when you left, you wouldn't listen to it anymore. But now you do listen, so it does make sense to make it just like the listen live, right? To be a play and a pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This I can do alone. There's no need for support on this part, so I can do this later on. Regarding I think the most concerning issue here is the latest episode that I mentioned. Sometimes when you hit play on the latest episode, it doesn't play the actual latest episode.
Yeah. Why is it pulling one that's older?
Should I look into this? Planning. Yeah, on this case, I think it is the last one, right? So should I look into estate planning?
Is that
And
only
then-
happening with Rad because we hard coded some episodes into their profile?
No, it's happening with the Raw and Real podcast.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I tested this feature with Shantos. So Shantos podcast is working, right? So this is the latest one. So this is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So for this, it's right. On Crime Junkie, perhaps it is different. Let me see. Episodes. Murdered Friendly Family. Murdered Charlotte.
You're doing a different sequence. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I didn't go to the episodes tab first. Just press the play button first.
Okay,
from
okay.
the one
So
you've never been to.
go here and then hit play.
Yeah. So what is that?
It's April 7, and I think there's a latest one from April 20th.
Okay. So maybe it's because of the path you just took. Is that possible?
Yeah, so I think this is regarding the order that the information is coming. So,
So if
let me
you were to
check
go-
which endpoint.
Mhm.
Let me check which endpoint and which data we have here, so I can ask perhaps Jerry on how can we know that is the latest episode, if there's some sort of ordering to the listing.
Okay.
Latest episode. Listen live buttons there. Okay. Right. This is something else. What do I have here? I was working on some stuff. Let me go to development. User index streak. Okay, nothing that will affect this. Podcast profile. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Live stream URL. Let me just adjust the brightness of my screen here. I got a little bit excited about a new Magic the Gathering collection, so I stayed up late looking into Magic cards and etc. So I had to bring in the brightness down.
Brightness of what? Your
Sorry?
monitor? What brightness?
My monitor.
Oh.
Brightness not available. I'm not sure why. Okay, I'll have to do with it.
Oh. You having trouble seeing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, my screen is too dim.
Hmm.
But okay. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that reminded me of that view right there. I mean, I didn't see the you didn't remove the lag on that copy link button on the Lottie. It's still it's like several seconds.
Yeah, that was not there. Let me see. Mhm.
I thought you had made that change because it's a quick change, right?
Yeah, it is a quick change. Let me make sure. I don't remember how I worked in it. Yeah, it's not there.
Okay. And I want to see what it looks like with the no lag. I want to make sure it's not too fast. But
Okay.
can
Yeah,
you send me the screen record of it?
yeah, I can do it right now.
Okay, thanks.
It.
Hey Todd and Chantel, will you do me a favor and do some testing of the copy shareable link feature this now live?
Yeah.
We haven't done enough testing. So yeah, maybe create a conversation and then share the link and see if
Gotcha.
it brings you into brings your one of your test phones into the conversation.
Okay. We're testing 2021. What version
No,
are we?
I don't think we're at 21 yet. I think 20. The
21
one
that's in the store.
Yeah, the one in the store.
Okay.
okay. So it seems that the data I'm having here is from the Ghetto episode of podcast. So perhaps this is not the best for having the latest episode, because what I'm getting it from is from, let me, oh, wait a second. Oh no, this is right. This is wrong. Okay. So let me hit here. GraphQL error. Requesting user key was not provided.
You probably need to skip on that query.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my logging? Okay, so this is where I'm getting it. I'm getting it from the get profile trust tips, because this is exactly the data. So it comes to the profile details. So let me go here to the console and hit here. Where's the logging? Let me do a console error so we see red. There we go. Profile. So profile details, episodes. Should I look into estate planning, which is exactly this one we are looking at. So on the case of the other podcast, let me see there. So here, the expected one is friendly family. And we are getting Charlotte Rebel. So, okay, when I click there, where is the props? There we go. So, yeah, I am getting that from the profile details, episodes, and then 0, which is Charlotte Rebel. Is that this one? So this is what I'm considering that this one. Perhaps from this listing it is not. But from what I see here on the networking, we also do another call, which is the ghetto episodes of podcast. If I can get, I believe, the data from there, and we see the episodes, let's see the first one. Where is the title of it? Okay, Friendly Family. Okay. So if we get from here, I believe it will be, we will be sure that this is the latest episode. So from this query instead of the other. Let me do a search for this there. Okay, not gonna be exactly like this. Let me do a logging on the props themselves, not only the profile, because perhaps that information is being passed here as well. Okay, let's go here. Also, let me take notes on this. Okay, so let's get back here, hit this, go there, console. There you go, here we have it. Is a morning, post username, profile. Okay, so that information is not on the props. But, okay, Crime Junkie. Well, let me see where in the app do we have this thingy here, this details episodes tab, because I believe it's going to be there. And from there, we see how to get the information. Entertainment header, tag icons, favorited by, action, step swiper. Okay, let me in this, close everything else, and go here. Okay, so for episodes, you have this profile podcast episodes. Okay, so here we have the query for that. I mean, guys, help me on this. If I do this exact same query on the other page, will we get that from cache, or will we do the thingy again? Like, if I do it like cache first.
Yeah,
So-
you will need. Yeah, you will need to specify the fetch policy. The fetch
Uh-huh.
policy it will determine what
Yeah.
will be. But like
I-
the one that's there, cache and network, that will prioritize cache than network. If
Yeah,
there is-
'cause what I'm thinking here is, so this is a children component of the whole page. So the other one I do, which is gonna be outside here, I think it's gonna be called first. So perhaps the cache has to be this one and not that one. So that one be the main one, and then this one be the cache one. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure I'm following, but for the cache to work, you need to have the same query and the same variables. They needs to be the same, exactly the same. If you, for example, if you add one more variable there, the cache will not work.
Okay, so if I just do this with
With-
cache policy cache network like it's here,
Yeah,
they will handle themselves, and I don't need to worry about specifying which one to actually get first.
I'm not sure I'm following. Like it needs to be the same query. So like,
Okay. Yeah. So this is what I'm thinking I'm doing. So this all here is the podcast component, podcast stream component. So on here, on this main component, we're gonna have a call to get that information from the backend. And then on this children component here, which is those tabs here, the details and episodes, when this component is loaded, it also fetches the information here. So we will have the call here. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, perhaps instead of relying on cache for that, I can simply pass down as props. So I move this query from here to the main component, and I just pass down the information as props. There's no need to rely on cache for that necessarily. Yeah. That's why it's important to take a plot. It helps. Okay, so let me get this from here and have this here. Okay. Then let me see how it is being used there. Data fetch more and loading. How is it being used here? Okay, so there's an activity indicator for the loading. There is the fetch more. Okay, so the logic for that is here. There's the school. Awesome. So I think I will just pass down all these props. And have them here. So on the profile podcast tab swiper. So this is not here exactly. There is an in between. Yeah, so perhaps relying on cache is a good idea. So there's this guy in between. We render details, we render episodes. Episodes, we render like this. And we pass down props here, I believe. Yes, sir. Okay, so yeah, the passing that works. Let me have this here. God, I love AI. It helps so much. And then here. Okay, data fetch more and loading. And then here. And this vanishes. Okay, so in theory, same functionality. I just have to get that stuff from the props. So exactly not this, just props. Okay, kind of do the typing here. Never mind. Okay. It is getting there. Theory, everything is working just like it was. Yes, sir. Beautiful. But now we do have this beauty over here. So let me get that. Latest episode. And then there we have it. Get our episode of podcast episodes 0. Should I look into statement? Oh, this is Santos. This was right already. Let me go to the one that was wrong. Okay. Here, 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 here. Family, title. Friendly family. Awesome. So this is what we need. So data dot this dot this 0. And then we have it here. So latest episode equals. Yeah, have I mentioned that I love AI? Just to make sure it's right. Yeah, it's right. Here. Okay. Now let me log this.
While you're doing that, Ismail, did you see what Chantel shared into the development channel?
No, I did not. Let me see.
Take a look. This could be another urgent defect. Is that on every chat, Chantel?
What is that? Her
It appears
keyboard
that
is her.
Is
or
that
her-
on every what?
every chat you get the same problem.
Let me double check before I respond.
Well, let's.
So, yeah, it looks like the keyboard is hiding the input field.
So on other chats, it covers halfway. So I can see like the top of the letters, but I definitely
We didn't
can't see all
touch
the
that
letters.
logic though. Todd, is it happening to you as well? Where
Let me
if you
check.
open a chat, is the input covered, or can you see what you're typing?
Let me double check. I think I've been able to see, but let me check. Yeah, no, I can see where I'm typing, no problem. It's not covered up.
What's unique about that chat, Chantal? It's a new one you created?
Yeah.
I see. Try creating a new one, Todd.
Yep, doing it right now.
I mean, we did make some adjustments to that input field, I think.
No,
It's a reusable component, right?
it is, but this is this is just the height. The input field has nothing to do with it. What controls it is the library, which controls the keyboard and how much space it gives it, which was not touched. I'm spinning it up on an Android myself right now.
That was
It is
touched.
not covering it.
It was touched when after you favorite something, the input field appears above the keyboard with two buttons. One says share with the group, and then one says send separately. And I asked Wells to decrease the spacing there, which he did. But I have a feeling he made a change globally and didn't realize it.
Sorry, what happened? What are you guys
Okay,
asking?
we'll get there in a sec. Just stay focused on what you're doing.
Okay. So yeah, sir, with this, I believe we are getting consistently the latest episode for all the podcasts. So it should be right. Should always be the latest one. There's just a loading issue. So for now, I did it like this. I will improve it and make it so we play instead of navigating here. So yeah, I'll figure out a way of having the button being always here. And when you
What do you mean? There's a loading issue? Oh, the button is not loading right away.
Yeah, so we had some data here already loaded in the app, and I was using it for getting the latest episode. But that data, it is not necessarily in order of the latest episode. So, but actually, we have another backend request here that is done when we load the information for these episodes here. That it actually brings in the right order for we to have the latest episode. So what I did is, instead of getting from the information we already have, I'm using from the information we get from this backend request here that was happening already. So I just moved the place that we do that request. So I have this information accessible for the latest episode here. So imagine that it was happening only on this part of the app here, only on these tabs, and now it is happening on the screen. The only issue with that is before I had the wrong latest episode right away. So if I hit here, it will just be loaded already. But now, since I'm relying on a backend request for fetching this information here, there is a slight delay on that. So I made it so the button disappears while we don't have it there. So we avoid the user clicking and having errors here for everything else. But what I would do is I will have this button to always be here. And when the user hits play, we actually wait for the latest episode to be loaded so we can actually get the data to start playing it, and then it will play. It might be a good idea to have a loading here, little loading inside this.
Loading on the first render, like when you first come to the screen, you mean, or after you hit play?
After you hit play.
Okay, but why is it not loading immediately when you come to the screen?
Yeah, the information we have is. Let me see that again, because we have, coming from the backend, two different endpoints for two different purposes. One of them is this get all episodes of podcast, which brings them in order from latest to not latest. So that's how we get the latest one. And the other one, I think, is a more general purpose one, which is get profile transcripts. I think it's this one. No, not this. Yeah, it is the get profile trust tips, isn't it? Yeah, and we have here the data, and within the profile details, I think we have some demonstration episodes here. So we have those episodes coming on the listing. So before I was getting from these episodes here, so we got them instantly because this information is already loaded. But having this here, we would see the podcast Murdered Charlotte Grable, which is the second latest. See, there's April 14th and April 7th. So that's why we were getting not always the latest episode. So for Chanteau, for example, it will be the latest episode that's going to be on this listing. For this one, it is not. So it is this other one. And apparently they are not in order. You'll see Charlotte Grable, Midtown. So they're not in the same order as they appear here. They are in a different order for some reason. Don't know exactly why. But instead of getting the data from here, we can get them from this other place. which is
Well, I think that different order is going to lead to issues. Maybe that's actually the problem.
maybe that's actually the problem.
Okay.
Jerry, can you check this? I will see the exact call that's being made here. I'm not sure exactly where to find that in depth.
What do you need?
For this endpoint here, we have a listing with the profile details in which the episodes have a specific order, but we can't figure which order is it and why is it not latest to not latest?
It's
Like
not.
most recent to
How so? So
That ordering is not matching the order. Where's the other ordering that you're not seeing match up?
the other order is on other endpoint, which is the get all episodes of podcast.
Okay, so there's these two lists, but they're not matching the same order.
Yeah, there's two lists, but they're not matching the same order.
can you provide me those queries, please? Well,
Yes, sir. I'm trying to figure though which one is this one. No, this one. This one. Is it get get fortress tips? There's only data here. Let me see payload. Oh, it is a profile? Yeah, it is a profile query. Yeah, so the profile query brings in Jerry.
put with the name, please. I'm looking into what John asked me to look in for the check-in thing, so I'll just look at that once I finish what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Wells. I have questions for Chantel. Did you see, Chantel, if that's all the chats now are doing that, or just that new one with the keyboard?
It's like halfway on all the other chats. Like I
I
can
see.
see the tops of the letters.
Okay, so only the new one you made was fully
Yeah.
covered. And if you make another new one, does it do the same thing?
Let me see.
And then also, I assume that this was not a problem in a previous build, right?
No, I wasn't having it where it was completely covering it. No, I've had issues where I get like the half of it, but
You have?
yeah, but it's inconsistent and I can never recreate it. It's just like a random time here and there, you know?
I see. And Todd, you don't have any problems with the keyboard covering?
No. I'm wondering if she's having some weird caching issues with her device for some reason. She seems to have some unique problems. If she was just to force close, big data, quick cache, restart, is it fixed?
That's a good question. I shall do that because we've had issues with that in the past. So that is smart.
Ian, what is
It's not to
this?
say that there's other users that have the same problem. It's just
Testing, please ignore.
Oh.
I'm testing in QA.
Okay. Got it. But is it showing up in production?
What I'm doing no, on QA.
Okay. Ian, you're not in QA, are
Sorry,
you?
no, I'm in. I was talking on mute. I'm in production, so those notices went to everybody in production.
No, it's because the player IDs. Unless if I go on John's profile in production, it's only Ian. It's only because you've dabbled in QA before.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. I'll leave it alone.
As long as it's not showing, yeah, it's not happening in production.
Okay.
Just because of Ian has dabbled in QA before.
Right. Okay. Hey, if you're free, can you help out Wells here a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I will.
It sounds like a couple things going on. Wells, where would you like to get another set of eyes on this?
Yeah, let me see. So the playing is fine. This latest episode order, I think we just figured it, and I just messaged Jerry here with the query and what to look for, and if perhaps there is a chance of changing that endpoint to bringing the latest to oldest order. Let me see other issue you found, John. Oh yeah, regarding the play. So I think you wanted, John, was for once some podcast is playing, all the play buttons be pause buttons.
Yeah.
But when you say all play buttons be pause buttons, do you mean, for example,
on that podcast, like not on other podcasts.
okay, so just here, just for this. So
Yeah.
if I come, that makes sense. So if I go, oh yeah, it will play right away, right? But so,
Okay.
yeah, but in case I'm listening here,
Yeah.
some episode, and then I navigate back here, we should
Yeah,
have
that should be a pause button now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And when I hit play here, it will work just like the
Hey friends, welcome.
the listen live, right? Like this.
Yes.
Pause?
Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that issue that I know exactly where to go, so no need to support on that.
Maybe even the one above should be paused. That one, yeah.
Here.
To be extra clear. Why is that not showing episodes?
I'm not sure.
And I noticed a different issue too. There's a few things going on because that other one, when you tried to play it, didn't play.
Other one?
Yeah. Which one did you click on right before that one? Was it that one? Yeah. And Ian shared one with me that didn't play. I don't think it was that one.
It's possible that we're also attempting to play podcasts that are no longer, if we're caching them, maybe no longer available.
Well, no, there wasn't even showing a list of them in this view.
Oh, I see.
That one is. So what happened there? Which one was missing? Was it the Rad Radio podcast?
No, yeah, it was.
Yeah. Hit the play button. Hit the play button up above. That one. Wasn't that? It was showing all empty, right?
Yeah, it was showing on empty because of a piece of code I left here.
Okay, so
the modification.
You
but
removed that.
There is coming invalidate here. Perhaps there's something I'm regarding backend.
Let me see that again.
Yeah, so red radio when I hit play.
Just that one or all?
Invalidate.
Yeah, I think we knew that because these are pinned, like we're doing something unique with those. And I think that was expected. It was a sacrifice to be able to pin. So I don't need to be concerned that there was no episode showing up, that you removed a piece of code.
No. It was just a piece of code.
Okay. So then when you press play, let's not use this one as an example because this one's unique with the listen live button, but let's use a different one. Okay, yeah. So when you press play on any of these, there should be probably pause buttons everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
so if I hit play on latest episode here, it's going to be a pause, and then perhaps this have to be a pause as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when I hit here, it will pause the podcast instead of opening this.
Right, exactly. It'll pause it and turn it to a play button.
Okay, so if I hit play again, and we'll just continue listening.
Well, that's a good question because it normally would bring up the episodes. Although I think I would expect it to continue playing.
Yeah, I mean, we will have a pink, really bright pause button here.
We will, but it'll say latest episode, which is also a little bit misleading too.
Yeah, perhaps we can change that to current episode if it is not the latest episode.
That would be better.
Okay, pause current episode. Let me take note of that.
Okay, yeah.
Pause. Okay, and then all right. So this is for the latest episode. It's gonna be playing here. It's gonna have a pause. So perhaps this here don't need to be a pause button, right? If this shows the pause for the current episode.
It should be, because they'll be out of sync and it would be confusing.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think it should be pause also.
Mhm.
So when you press the latest episode button, how are you going to have it play the latest episode?
I will get the latest episode either from this modification I did or from where I was getting it, but with the order fixed. If Jerry perhaps can fix that, can bring in the order from the latest to the oldest. So either way, we're gonna have the current episode here, and I can play just like we do with the listen night.
Okay.
So it starts playing from here.
Okay.
So we can have the same behavior, and then if I go on, let's not use Red Radio. If I go on episodes and I navigate through an episode here, and I hit play here. So this is a pause button now.
Yeah.
This should also be a pause button.
Right. When you go back, yes.
Okay. And then here should be a pause button for current episode.
Yeah. And up above.
The story I have for you
And up above.
is
And then for this one up above,
has me twisted up.
let me just
Icon.
pause. Okay. Okay. So this should be a pause as well.
Yeah.
And when I hit here, it pauses. When I hit here again, does it continue playing or does it open the listing again?
Well, I'm worried that it's gonna not be reliable. Like it sounds complicated to do have it be different. Like how long would it keep the current episode? What if I came back tomorrow and pressed play? Well, then what?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps we don't need to have this button here changed. Just
well,
here.
It still should say pause. Because it doesn't make sense. It would be a play button.
Yeah, on Red Radio, do you think this is also true? We also should have a pause here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then if I am, meant save there. If I am listening here and I go somewhere else and I hit play there, this should still be a play, right?
Yeah, it'll replace the current one playing.
Okay. Yeah, that's done already, so that's cool. Yeah, we definitely need a pause button easily because I can get the notifications here on the simulator. Okay. Yeah, so that issue I can address myself as well.
There's one that Ian shared. Well, also, if you hit the play button above the top one there, yeah. Yeah, go to another one. I pressed that play button earlier and nothing happened for like a second. What could cause that?
Perhaps loading here. Let me see if I can cause network throttling from here. Because when we load the screen, we load the episode, and then when we hit play.
See, that one's not playing. See, do that again. And Ian shared one with me that's also not playing. Look there. Was that a lag?
No.
No. But look, it's not playing.
It is.
Is it? Okay. There's another one. It may be a problem with the podcast itself.
Let's try this. A random one. Dateline. Latest episode there.
Hey everyone, it's Jenna
Playing.
Pacheco from Today with Jenna and Friends, reminding you to check out my podcast, Open Book with Jenna. In this week's episode,
But yeah, I
sit
will
down with
check.
Lisa Pressman
Let me
to talk
see.
about her 5 principles of parenting
Oh.
and her tips for
Dang
raising
it.
resilient
Pause it. Oh,
children.
Brazil mentioned.
I pressed the play button and nothing happened. And then I pressed it again and it navigated. Why is that?
Where is that? Okay, just a sec. Okay, podcast episode. So for this screen, let me see where's the play button. Okay, play button, and the podcast play.
It's possible I missed the button, maybe.
Push. Yeah, no, there's just navigation.
Um,
There shouldn't be a delay here. You meant when he hits play here, it didn't he did not see this other screen. There was a delay.
Now by searching Open Book with
well,
Jenna.
it'll go to the other screen, but it won't play. I'll send you the one I'm talking
Okay,
about.
it will go. Okay, it will go to the other screen, and this is not play. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go to that one in a sec.
This screen. Yeah, when this screen is loaded, it's play. So yeah, there shouldn't be a reason for this coming here and you hitting play and it not playing, besides the track not being loaded yet. So let me see on the play. Set query and add new track. Oh, this is the load. Okay, so we just await for the track player to play. I wonder. Okay, okay, I will try to play. And then how can I test? Isn't there a menu there? Can I test network throttling on Expo?
Network throttling, like you mean to slow your network?
Yeah, my network being bad, like testing with a slow network.
It has, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but it has nothing to do with Expo. There's some software
on the DevTools.
Now, I'm not sure that would apply to
Yeah,
it.
I'm not sure that will work. I tested it. I don't think it worked.
No, it worked.
But there's cache.
No, I'm asking like that, the one that you just
Oh
changed.
no. Yeah, I think it didn't.
Yeah, because I know.
Let me try add the throttling here of offline. So I should be offline if that worked. So let me do a search for places because I haven't done it in a while. Yeah, no, it didn't take effect. We're still having info there. So this doesn't work. Because I'm thinking here, perhaps on the way that the track player play is set there, perhaps if the track is not loaded, there might be a chance of the play not hitting because we have the play and the load in different screens. So it's not synchronous. So we do have an await for the load in one place, but the await for the play is another place. Not necessarily the load is going to be there. So what I'm thinking here is adding a retry to the play. So when we hit play, if there is an error, we check if it is loading. If it is loading, we do like a set timeout and try playing again in like a second or something. But for this retry strategy to work, it would be good for me to actually test beforehand. If my connection is bad, there is a chance of that happening. Because if there's not a chance of that happening, there is no need to doing the fix. So there's no need to do the fix if there's no issue. So I would like to test like having a bad network to see if I can reproduce the scenario that John just mentioned, that Todd went to the screen, but he didn't started playing. You get what I mean? Or was it confusing? In summary, John mentioned something weird happened to Todd. So he, on the podcast screen, he hit play here, but when he got to this next screen, he didn't started playing. So I assumed perhaps that might be due to the track not being loaded yet. So I would like to have like a no network so I can test it and see if there is a chance of me hitting play here and it not playing, because that would explain what happened, and then I can fix it. There now?
Wells, are you trying to debug it not playing right away?
No. I'm trying to explain to me why I want to test like having a low network to see if this is the issue.
Yeah, I know, but for what issue? The one I brought up a minute ago about a particular.
Yeah, the one you brought up about
But
Todd.
I'm not even sure that's it, because it has zeros on the start and end time. So I think you're might be going on the wrong path.
Yeah, but I think that's exactly it. That's why we have the zeros on the beginning and the end.
You think? Okay. Maybe, or maybe it's not giving us all the data for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just that particular podcast, I guess is what I'm saying. Let's check it out and see.
Okay, yeah, this is least important, right? There's more
Well, I
important
don't
stuff.
know that it's even really a problem widespread. If it might be a particular podcast problem, but all the other stuff is very important. We need to get all the play buttons and everything working in the right places. So let's stay on a course. Before all that, where did you leave off, Wells? If I'd like you to get assistance with anything you need when it comes to these play buttons.
But yeah, and regarding these issues we just mentioned with the play buttons, I think everything is okay. I can handle that myself on the multiple plays here and the pause buttons and not. So I'm trying to address the other issues.
Maybe share the approach you're going to take with Amin, and let's just make sure before you start that you're on the right path.
Okay.
You know, let's go through it a little bit together with Wells. So I just don't want to redo it tomorrow. So you're gonna have the latest episode button right there, play immediately, right? Without navigating, is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. How would you go about that?
I already know which one is the latest episode. From this change that I made, but also from the other one that I'm discussing with Jerry about the order here that we discussed. This order, the house in order here.
Yeah, you'll have their latest one. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'll have the latest one, and then from that I can just play it, just like for Red Radio on Listen Live.
Okay, will it behave the same? I mean, they're two different.
Yeah, if everything works right, the player will just start and it will play the media.
What will your approach be to do that though?
Literally the same as for radio. Here I load the track, and there I will load another track.
But the Listen Live doesn't load a track, does it? It
does. It is just a live stream, not a buffer, but
okay.
It ends up the same. It's the same stuff, the same player.
Okay. And how will you have the play buttons work together? Like how will that top one change?
I restructured the track player in the way I centralized our usage of it. I created a hook, which is an utilitarian function. And in there, we have control of everything regarding that. So everyone can see the current track that is playing. And based on the ID of the current track that is playing, I can know if it is the latest, for example, if the track ID that is playing matches the track ID of the latest episode. So I can know if we are listening to the latest episode. And if it is not the latest episode, then it is just a normal episode. And I can show here current episode when I show the pause. And everyone also can know when the player is paused or when the player is playing. So I can use that to either show a play here or show a pause here.
How does that sound to me?
Yeah. Like we're already doing it for the live one, so it's gonna be the same as long as the data is ready as he's navigated there. Then the same thing will apply there.
Okay. Do you want to look at it at all? Like visually confirm?
We work on code together, or like
I'm saying just to make sure the code is structured the way you would structure it.
it depends on the changes what he's doing right now. Like,
That's kind of what I want to see.
yeah, maybe he share, like, can you share the code?
Yeah,
And,
I can.
like,
I can.
code wise, John. Code wise, podcast is same as live, like a show that is live. Like they share in the same screen, the same code.
Okay.
Sorry, what is Amy? Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, I was saying that, like, code wise, the podcast is the same as the a live show, so they are like in the same file code, like they're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
He mentioned that. But we're also going to have the play button over the image turn into a pause button too. So like they kind of have to be in sync.
Yeah.
Right. Where it says latest episode, that little play button in the pink will turn into a pause.
It will.
Yeah. And then the play button up above will turn into a pause.
Yeah, this is another issue. For this, we will have the same data. So when I can access the data here for knowing if it's playing or if it's not, because as I mentioned, I centralized that. So I can use that information on this component as well and change the behavior of this play button.
Mhm.
However, how do we want that to behave once it is a pause and then I pause it and then I hit play again? Should it show this or should it?
I think it probably should do that because that's what it already does.
Okay, so it just works as a play and then, it just works as a pause. And then once it pauses it works normally.
Yeah, I think just to keep it the same architecture.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything tricky about having those turn into pause buttons?
Before there was, but now there isn't, because the solution for that is done already, which is my PR and all the restructuring I did, because I changed all the places that were playing the podcast and etc. with the refactor that just took place last week. And now we have control over everything regarding the player, and we can easily access that and control it. And the whole idea behind that was just basically to have this control and reliability regarding that. So implementing this kind of features now is easy because of that. Before it was tricky, nowadays now it's straightforward.
Okay. All right. Let's test out the one that Ian shared. It's called, he heard me wrong. He thought I said rod and reel, REEL, and that one doesn't play at all. So yeah, search for it.
Rod?
Yeah. and then and real.
And Rio, like this.
REEL.
REEO
L.
L.
Yeah, but you have an I. So REE. One more E.
Oh, rather than Rio. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Our Portuguese speakers.
No, I know. I
really
is an E.
same.
I know. It's like Spanish.
Yeah. They sound the same.
Yeah. There you go. That one on the far left. That one won't play. The far left.
This one.
That one. Yeah.
Let me favorite it.
No, don't favorite it.
Okay. Sorry.
Just hit latest episode. And then play. See zeros. I don't know. Maybe it's just that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's just this one.
Maybe. How would we check?
Okay. Yeah, let me take notes on this. Rod and Real Radio. We'll look into that later.
Okay. Okay. Do you want Amin to look into anything else here with you?
Perhaps this is rather than not playing. I'm not sure why it is, but perhaps we can investigate it together.
Okay.
But I'd rather work on the play pause first because that seems to be more important, right?
Yeah. And I mean, can you look at this one and see like why is it on our end or maybe it's on the API's end? Why that one's not playing?
Did you try like to inspect that link and just see if it's working?
Not yet.
Yeah, try that and see if the link is valid. And
Yeah, I think I figured out what was going on with the episodes. So
Oh, you did, Jared. Sorry, I forgot to drop out the.
I got it. So
Okay. Yeah, you found it.
Yeah. So the episodes are coming from two different sources. One comes from the top level profile, and the other one, when you actually request the episodes, it uses a separate endpoint that gets the episodes. And that's fine, except that we have two different Redis caching policies on both of them. So they could be out of sync at times. So what I did is to keep the Redis caching in place, but make sure they are consistent, I updated the episodes portion only to pull from our Redis cache for episodes, which is it's cached less frequently than the top level profile. So that should sync up the episodes list between the two queries.
Okay. Is that pushed to production?
I'm doing it now. And John, I also figured out what was going on with your check-ins thing, and that's another Redis hiccup. It looks to be I went ahead and all those check-ins you were getting, well, Ian was getting, that was me testing to figure out how I could reproduce a situation where your check-in wasn't showing. And only thing I was able to conclude is our check-ins query takes a little time to run. And it's almost as if somebody was trying to view their check-ins as you were checking in, and it got cached in a state that it was before your check-in. And we have the check-ins cached when we first implemented it. We had it very aggressive because it was the idea is that it stayed static until you checked in. And we could tell, well, now that there is a failure in that. So here's what I did. I changed the Redis caching for check-ins from, it was formerly a year, and I changed that to 1 hour. So if anything happens that reproduces this scenario, it would correct itself in the next hour. By just doing a new fresh fetch from the database.
So you think someone was looking at it?
It's almost like as you were checking in. So this cache gets called whenever you view the entertainment check-in, and it would have to be somebody that is following you. And you have a lot of followers, so it's almost possible. That's the only scenario I was able to reproduce it in.
Huh.
That it was like, while you were mid check-in, somebody grabbed it while the cache was cleared, and it combated each other. So
that's so unlikely though, because it's like a very low volume search, and it's only been favored by a couple people.
as much as I've tested a bunch, I mean, probably 20 something times.
I guess unless it could happen if maybe, okay, so like, let's say I checked in, I tagged Tori, it shows up in the feed, someone's looking at it right at the same time Tori goes to look at it. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's more likely because, like, maybe 1,000 people saw it in their feed and clicked on it.
Yeah.
So at the same time, Tori's trying to view it in her dashboard.
Yeah. So to keep it cached, like I said, very unlikely, but there's always a possibility. We're going to cache it for an hour. So if it doesn't, like if it happens again, it will correct itself within an hour.
Okay. So should she be able to see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also went and I should have done a cache clear. I did a cache clear for everybody's check-ins just in case someone else was affected.
Okay. Let me ask her.
We also have a new utility function that we can reset Redis cache like pretty quickly, or not the entire cache, but selective parts of the cache. I made this morning. So if we have a doubt or a suspicion that Redis is causing something, there's a very quick way for us to test.
Okay. And you're deploying the other change to the backend for that list sorting?
Episode list. Yeah, it's not necessarily the sorting, it's where it comes from. For example, I think we cache the profile. Let me see how often we cache a podcast profile. That would be for podcast details, expiration. Yeah, we cache it for a month. So that's why the lists were out of sync, because we cache our episodes only every 6 minutes. Oh, that's 6 hours. We cache the episodes every 6 hours versus the entire top level profile was every 30 days.
Okay.
So this will bring it back into sync.
Okay, cool. Tori checked in, the check-in is now showing up for her under my recent check-in, so that's good. Looks like you got that one. Okay. And then when will Wells be able to test, or I would be able to test that?
Yep. Now.
Okay. So if I play latest episode.
Yeah, and I mean, so that audio that is not playing, there is 00. The URL for that seems to work.
Okay.
Well, hey there, Susan here.
And,
Yeah, I played the latest episode. Great. Good job. Sorry, go ahead, Wells.
Yeah, go ahead, Wells. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
this is the episode in here?
Wait, sorry?
Like, this is the episode on your right in the simulator that it's not working?
Yeah. This one there is 00. I went here on the request and I got the audio. Not sure if you're if you're using the audio or the link, or probably the audio.
I wonder if it could be possibly that wherever the URL is hosted is preventing mobile clients from doing it, like from listening.
Yeah, try to open it from Safari. You have Safari in.
Yep, I do.
Well, it comes from listen notes. That shouldn't change anything. Well, I don't know if it's a redirect. So does it does listen notes redirect to somewhere else, or
There might be. Let's see here on Safari.
well, it could even still be like mobile applications. Like they could have
Yeah.
as whitelisted for those user agents, but not any React Native applications.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it would work the same here. I mean, on Safari. But yeah, I don't think it is a redirectory.
So yeah,
You know, it's there we go. Simplecast audio.
yeah. So there's a redirect happening.
There's a redirect happening.
That we still do that for like Rad Radio. If you try a different profile, I wonder if it could be just that Simplecast, or if that's like restricted to maybe that's something for NBC Radio.
Mm-hmm. Let's try a different one.
Mm-hmm.
Chantel, did you get the keyboard to work after all that?
How much total life?
Yeah, it ended up working just fine after I cleared the cache.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, good news is then it's not affecting anybody else.
Yeah.
Bad news is your phone just wants to keep giving you problems.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm glad it's working.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That was stressing me out because that would be a lot of Androids.
Yeah.
Really close.
Okay.
Thankfully, it's just mine to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep testing aspects, especially these newer features around the share links
Yeah.
and things like that.
I tested out the podcast playing in the background, listening to the podcast you were just on.
Yep.
And it worked great.
Good. Yeah.
I was able to have it play in the background, which was awesome. So
features on the surface of
yeah, that's huge. That'll make a big difference. I think we can tell more people.
Now it can just be people's new podcast player.
Totally. I would love that.
Can you pause it from the shade?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that was something I was having an issue with. I know I'm building 19 on iPhone.
Yeah, I think Amin and Wells got that fixed on 20.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me see.
Yeah, double check.
Yeah, and Jerry, we got it. This other podcast here that I'm playing.
Oh, and it shows the profile picture. Nice.
Right?
Hold on. 1 sec. Yeah, it is not. I can't pause it from
the lock screen.
I can't pause it from my shade.
What do you mean from your shade?
So, like when I pull down the what is it? The formal name for it? Like
I think that's what we've been calling it, the shade.
Yeah, like it's not letting me pause it from there on 20. And make sure I'm on 20. Yeah, I'm on 20.
Can you screen record it for me, please? I'm not sure.
Yeah, what is the shade?
Like when you pull from the top right, when you pull down from the top right of the screen, there's the shining Sia player.
In the middle, top middle.
Yes.
But the top middle one, that one works. That shade. That's the shade I was talking about.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Like your lock screen shade.
Sorry, I'm talking about the one from the top right.
Unreal entrepreneurship and my
that one works for me too.
Today,
okay, let me just start
talk about
again. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see. So if I go to here, we're gonna go to entertainment, and we're gonna go to Red, listen live. Okay, well that works now. That works. Maybe I just have to like close and reopen it. And cool, it shows the profile picture, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's odd though. It didn't work the first time. I wonder why. Maybe did you update your app? Are you in the App Store version?
No, I'm on test flight. I'm on.
Yeah,
20.
maybe because you updated from 19 to 20, maybe something lingered or something.
Possibly, but it works now.
Okay. Okay, good. I downloaded straight from the App Store.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay, and the lock screen shade, that looks like okay, cool.
Looking good.
Awesome. Yeah, this is sleek.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just adding that icon metadata and the background playing is like huge.
Yeah, it's a real pro polished feel.
Yes.
Very nice. Yep, we're making good improvements. All right, let's keep going. Where do we leave off here, Wells?
Yeah, so Jerry, we figured it out. This podcast here, the Space Bites, it is also a what's it called? Listen notes
Okay.
URL, but this one, instead of a redirect, it leads to the file, so it actually plays. So perhaps this seems a reasonable explanation.
Are you sure it's not a redirect? It could, if you go.
But yeah, it is not. If I put this here, it will download the file.
But that doesn't mean that it's not downloading from there. If you go to your downloads though, it will give you the actual URL where the file is.
Like here?
Your downloads. So there, I think if you right click it, you might be able. Okay, so that does come from Listen Notes. Okay, yeah, that could be something with NBC News then. Do we need to whitelist additional domains for the player? Or what happens if we try that NBC News URL directly in the player?
I think that will work. If we try the URL that it redirects to, I think it will work.
So it's only the hard-coded one.
I'm not sure. This one is hard-coded?
Well, I was going to say I want to try to hard-code the NBC News and see what happens.
That might work. Can you please do that for the Rod and Reel Radio 12923?
I can't. I'm not going to deploy that. You could just hard-code it into the player.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. Sorry. My bad.
And I mean, are you now looking into the start the combo?
I was gonna pause, like focusing on wasn't this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of under control here. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have input on anything here?
No. It seems like they figured it out. I mean, it was the link. Something was wrong with the link.
Worked, Jerry.
That's right.
It worked.
Worked.
Okay, so that means I would say something on the redirect our player isn't handling properly.
Yeah, probably because it expects
what
stream or a file directly to stream from.
What if we try like a simple fetch, like an options fetch on that Listen Notes URL? And if it has like a redirect, if it has a 300 redirect, then we update the URL to point to that new base URL rather than Listen Notes.
That will work beautifully, I believe.
Let's try it out.
What do you mean, doing that on the front end?
Yes.
Not sure if it's worth doing that on the front end though, because it will be an extra request for every single play, every single.
Yeah. I guess I see where you're going.
Yeah, it seems like a more a database issue, like having a backend to when we populate, we run a script for the populate and do this job of
possibly
there is a direct.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's only done once, because once the URL is right, then there's no need to run the script again.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Well, we do refreshing it every time we do redo the cache, but I mean, we have a lot of bandwidth too on the backend server. Okay. Yeah, we can do it there.
Awesome. So that fixes this issue here, John, with the Rod and Rio. It was not playing because it was an issue with the URL or the audio.
Okay. Now, how do we prevent it for others?
So the what's happening is with that URL is instead of playing the audio, so instead of having the audio file, that URL leads to another URL that then plays the audio. So the solution that we thought is ideal is having a backend script that when we actually save the link for this podcast, it fetches and it says if it has a redirect. And if it has a redirect, then it gets the URL from the redirect. So we have only URLs that actually play the audios coming to the front end.
Okay, nice. Great. So that'll prevent this problem for any other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. We're making good progress. On a side note, just a couple small quality of life issues. Wells, can you make the back button a larger tappable area right now? I think, yeah, it's like just the chevron right now.
I think again, yeah.
And also the play button, even though it's a pretty big play button, let's just increase the area around it. And it's the one where, like, in the episode list. But even the latest episode one, let's do that one too. We might as well just make it easy to tap near it.
Mm-hmm. So you mean this one here, right? Making it easier to click on this.
That one, but also the pink one on the list of episodes. Like if you go
to indeed, yeah.
That one right there. No, yeah,
This
that one too. But also if you hit that one, that one too. Yeah, you can put a bigger area around that.
Yeah, and regarding the tappable area for this one here, I believe this is shared across all the apps. So by increasing the tappable area here, or increase the tappable area of all the other places they use it, I think it's this intended behavior, right?
Well, no, because we have to be careful. There may be something very close, like a topic, like the main chat could be right under it. I don't know if that's like even there. I don't know. That one probably could be okay. No, that's different though, right? Isn't that a different one?
I think it's the same.
Well, then we need to be very careful with that.
Yeah, we need to be very careful with that. Indeed.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, did you already shift over to that other thing? Or are you still here?
Yeah, I did.
You're still paying attention here?
No, I'm working on the combo now. Looking into that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's stick with that. And let me know what you come up with. Actually, Ismail could probably help because he's worked with these buttons a lot. Ismail, what do you have going on right
now? So first of all, I had a question about the pagination for chat. After the update, did that seem to work properly?
I think so. Yeah, I don't see duplicate conversation.
Okay. Well, I don't know. When I did it on my phone, I ran it one more time, and I think I saw a duplicate on my iPhone. So I went back and I added a bit more logic to help prevent that. And I think the problem was the initial load could potentially cause that. So I added some logic to block it from paginating if it's still loading from the previous API. It waits for it to fully finish.
Okay, yeah, it is still duplicating.
Yeah. So what my new logic will do is the first fetch would be fine. The second fetch might be slightly delayed because it's going to wait for the first one to finish. And then going forward, it's only going to paginate after the API is not fetching or not loading, and it has an offset. So I think that should prevent it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was mainly the first one that I was still seeing problems with. So I sent it to me and he approved it, so it seems good.
You don't think there could be any unintended consequences with that?
I don't think so, because what I'm doing is saying, hey, if we're still loading something else and we're fetching something else, don't do any more fetching. Wait for it to finish, get that value, and then go ahead and fetch the next one. So that way we can't pass the same value twice. So you can think about, like, this is how it works. We fetch 30 messages, and then the backend says, okay, the offset now is 30. That means you're gonna skip the first 30, and you're gonna get the other 30, and then after that becomes 60, and then after that 90. See how that works? So sometimes you're passing 30 twice, or 90 twice, or 60 twice. And now what I'm doing is I'm blocking the call if we're still loading, and then if we're not loading, that means we have the most up-to-date value. So therefore, we shouldn't see duplicates anymore.
Okay.
Like what I did probably helped reduce duplicates, but I think there was one edge case that it didn't cover, which is probably the first pagination I would assume.
Okay.
So hopefully this should fix it. Because yeah, we need to obviously can't have duplicate messages, and it's weird that it's only happening. I think it's only happening in bigger chats because it takes a little while longer to load some information. You know what I mean? So like it could potentially call two APIs with one still loading for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's the case. So we had the code wasn't robust enough where it did have that problem where it could potentially call twice the same offset. But we never ran into it because we always had smaller groups, I think. But now with bigger groups, the API are taking a little longer, and that could potentially and that delays what's causing maybe the duplicate, because it gives it enough time to call the same API with the same data twice. Because if the other one is still loading, it's gonna it's gonna do the fetch, and it reaches the end, it triggers that function. It doesn't have the 60 yet; it still has a 30, so it's just gonna call the 30 again. So I'm pretty sure that's what was happening, and I think this one right here should fix all paginations. But yeah, we're gonna test it a little more, but I am a lot more confident in the solution.
Great.
So that's how I was just a little busy with that and testing it and so on. I can reproduce it on my local, so that's good, no matter how hard I try. But yeah, like I said, there's gonna be one slight difference, which the first pagination, not the first load. The first pagination might take slightly longer. But then again, it's better than having duplicates.
Yeah.
And obviously, the faster the backend, the faster that would help. Which right now our backend is pretty fast, so it shouldn't be much of a problem at all.
Okay. Okay, good. So what about if we wanted to increase the tappable area around the back button?
Which back button?
Well, the one on podcast, the list of podcast episodes.
The list of podcast episodes.
Yeah.
So if I go to, is anybody sharing a screen or?
Yeah, Wells was sharing. Wells, you stopped sharing.
Yes, sir. That was intended. Didn't mean to distract you guys.
That's okay. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Okay. So what do you want to take a look at specifically? The play pause?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm doing that right now. For implementing that, let me just...
technically the back button, actually, because that's the one that's the global.
Oh, the back button, I see.
Back button, yeah.
Yeah, so Ismail, John wants this back button right here to have an increased tappable area.
Okay.
Yep, and I believe, so I believe this is the common component we use, right? In which we have the set here and it is used
Yeah.
in places correctly. Correct? Yeah. So if I change the tappable area for this, it will change the tappable area in many different places. So this is an issue.
Yeah, or you can pass it as a prop, an extra prop maybe.